Right now, you can play an awesome multiplayer game for free, and you can get it from the PlayStation Store. You can get it for a limited period of time, and if you do want to own it forever, you can pick it up at a little bit of a discount. Of course, I am talking about Tom Clancy's The Division. I want to give you guys the rundown on that. Also, we've got the release date for one of the more underrated upcoming JRPGs. I know you guys are looking forward to the Final Fantasy VII Remake, maybe Tales of Arise. However, coming from Tokyo RPG Factory is Oninaki, and this looks to be their biggest project yet, so I want to give you guys the rundown on that. Heroland is headed to the PlayStation 4, and that looks to be a pretty charming game. That's coming this fall, and we've got the official release date for Torchlight 2 on the PlayStation 4, and that'll be coming in early September. More on that at the end of this video. First up, if you've yet to play one of the best multiplayer games of the year, if not the best multiplayer game of the year, I don't think it's hyperbole in saying that Tom Clancy's The Division 2 was one of the best games of the year. It's an awesome multiplayer experience, but if you have yet to check it out, you can enjoy the game for free this weekend. It'll be free from today, June 13th until June 16th. You can jump on and you can play the game with some friends, and that's how I would recommend you guys to play the game. Now, The Division 2 is a game that I can talk a lot about. It was honestly one of the more surprisingly great games of the year. I thought The Division was a pretty good game, or it turned out to be a pretty good game. At launch, I know many had their issues and qualms with The Division, but it just turned out to get better and better, and now with The Division 2, it's building upon the fundamentals of the first game, and it's continuing to grow. Ubisoft is making the game better and better with every update. I don't know if you guys caught the Ubisoft press conference, but as a part of that press conference, they also showed a lot of the content that's coming to the game in the future. Coming up this summer, in the fall, early next year, and beyond that, that's only going to contain year one of content, and then of course there's going to be more content rolled out. Ubisoft has done a great job in releasing these multiplayer games and continue to make them more and more compelling as the months and years roll on. I point to a game like Rainbow Six Siege. You can look at the First Division, you can look at For Honor, you can look at all of these multiplayer games, Ghost Recon Wildlands. That really seems to be the Ubisoft MO going forward. Yes, they're putting out these single-player big-budget games as well, like your Assassin's Creeds and your Watch Dogs Legions, Gods and Monsters, whatever the case may be, but now a large portion of their portfolio of games they're putting out are these incredibly investment-oriented and ever-evolving games, and that's something I can get behind. Now, when talking about the quality of The Division 2, again, it's an awesome game, gameplay is tight, content is there, but I would highly recommend you to play this game with a couple of friends. Yes, you can go in solo, and you can have a fun time, but when you're playing this game with 3 other friends and you're going in and you're playing together, that's how you're going to get the best experience possible. And given the game is free, you don't even need PlayStation Plus to take advantage of this free weekend. I would highly recommend you to go talk to your friends, get on together, and then you're going to have the best experience possible. And if you do want to own the game forever, I do believe you can get it for 35% off. I think that knocks it down to around $37. So for that price, The Division 2 is absolutely worth it. Given that the game already is incredibly compelling and it's only going to get better and better, do check out the free weekend just so you can get a taste of the game, but I imagine that you're going to like it enough where you are going to want to end up buying the game. And outside of The Division 2, Fallout 76 is also experiencing a free week right now, so a lot of free content for you guys to check out. Yes, it's a limited duration with this E3 week running. However, I would recommend you to check out both of those games, because in the case of both of those games, they're 2 games that are continuing to get better and better, and they're worthwhile to jump into. So check that out. Again, June 13th until June 16th, it'll be available. Alright, next up, I definitely wanted to highlight the new JRPG coming from Tokyo RPG Factory. And as I mentioned in the top, if you're talking about JRPGs right now, you're talking about the Final Fantasy VII Remake, maybe you're talking Tales of Arise, maybe you're even talking Ni no Kuni Remastered. One JRPG that many are not talking about, however, is Oninaki, the latest game from Tokyo RPG Factory, the same studio that brought you I Am Setsuna as well as Lost Sphere, and they have been an incredibly consistent studio. I Am Setsuna came out back in January of 2017, Lost Sphere followed up in January of 2018, and now a year and a half after the release of Lost Sphere, that consistency rolls on as they're bringing you their biggest game yet in Oninaki. Oninaki is an all-new action JRPG, and it tells the story of one watcher on a journey to protect life after death. Reincarnation is said to be the foundation of the way of life. We celebrate the lives we've been given and offer up prayers for the next. It is grief of death which shackles the living and causes the dead to stray. Indeed, there is no greater affront to reincarnation. So do we turn our grief to joy as we send off the dead? But the sounds of those who held back their tears in life still need salvation in death, a duty that falls to the Watchers. Their task is to guide the wandering souls known as the Lost and serve as keepers of the living world and the beyond. The Watchers sever the bonds that tie the lost to this world and send them on to the next. They navigate the emotions of the living and the dead. They prize life above all else. This is the story of one Watcher. Visually, this is a sizable upgrade over I Am Setsuna and Lost Sphere, which, looking at those games, you could tell that they were smaller budget games, and I'm not saying Oninaki is as big budget as, say, a Tales of Arise or a Final Fantasy VII Remake. It definitely comes in a smaller form factor. However, if Tokyo RPG Factory with each of their outings can just continue to be a better studio, I've been saying that Square Enix really needs to facilitate the creation of these studios that they can rely on. And while I'm not saying that I Am Setsuna and Lost Sphere were absolute home runs, they were pretty interesting titles, and the issue with a lot of Square Enix studios, especially their Japanese studios, is consistency. Being able to release these games in a timely manner and constantly be putting them out. I'm not saying you gotta release games every 8 to 12 months, but in the case of Tokyo RPG Factory, they're putting out games at a consistent basis, and with Oninaki, I'm just hoping it turns out well so Square Enix has another studio that they can rely upon. We'll see, as Oninaki will be dropping on August 22nd. Alright, next up, another notable publisher in Xseed Games will be putting out Heroland, and that'll be launching this fall in the West for PlayStation 4. Here's an overview of the game directly from Xseed. Put on your nostalgia goggles for this single-player RPG about a theme park where guests can explore dungeons, beat up baddies, and become legendary heroes where the player assists from the sidelines as a tour guide. Released in Japan as WorkX Works, this tale of Princess and Pixels is told by over 20 quirky characters, including overzealous knights, an otter, and man-eating broccoli. When the Dark Lord's monsters are also your co-workers, it's hard to draw the line between work and play. Directed by Takahiro Yamane, Fantasy Life, written by Nobuyuki Ino from Legend of Mana, and set in a colorful 2D world created by Nobuhiro Imagawa, Mother 3 and Legend of Mana, and jam-packed with Tsukasa Masuko's Shin Megami Tensei whimsical tunes, this adventure is one that cannot be forgotten. So it really seemed like a star-studded cast worked on the game, and it was originally announced for general 2019 release, but now we know it will be headed to the PlayStation 4 this fall in the West, so another game to be on the lookout for. A very charming game, definitely not big budget like a couple of the other JRPGs coming out, but a quirky little title nonetheless. Alright, and lastly, I know as far as dungeon crawling fans go, you're focused on games like Diablo 3, maybe you're looking at Baldur's Gate 3, even though it's not announced for the PlayStation 4 yet, maybe you've been invested in Path of Exiles. However, Torchlight 2 is a notable title that's coming to the PlayStation 4 later this year, and it was confirmed that it'll be dropping on September 3rd. Now, I know at this point, if you compare Torchlight 2 to, say, the complete Diablo 3 experience, or even Path of Exiles, as that has made a lot of progress, maybe Torchlight 2 doesn't hold up as well. However, I do have to say that it is a quality dungeon crawling action RPG, and it got a lot of attention back in 2012 when it was originally released. Now, of course, it's a little bit dated at this point, but it offers a lot to get into. And here's the description of the game from Perfect World Entertainment and developer Panic Button. Originally developed by Runic Games, the sequel to the award-winning Torchlight game received critical acclaim when it was released on PC in 2012. Thanks to the team at Panic Button, Torchlight fans can relive the glory of this classic dungeon crawler, while a new generation of console players now get to experience this unique world of hack-and-slash gaming. Now including updates and new content exclusive to consoles, Torchlight 2 will release digitally worldwide for $19.99. Torchlight 2 invites adventurers to a sprawling continent filled with monsters and adventure at every turn. Like the original Torchlight game, the sequel sets itself apart from other action RPGs with a charming art style, frantic combat, signature pet system, and deep character customization. And that's where I think one of the standouts of Torchlight 2 is, even though it is a game that, yes, was released 7 years ago at this point. I can't believe it's been 7 years since the release of Torchlight 2. Kind of dating myself there, given that I played this game the day it came out, but it also had a very charming art style that'll carry on over even 7 years after the fact. With a lot of these games, because their art style is very much focused on delivering those high quality technical visuals on that day, that type of art style really doesn't age all too well, whereas a more charming art style like Torchlight 2 employs. I'm not saying that this is gonna win the award for the best looking game of the year, but it's still a very captivating game to look at, and the gameplay is what's most engaging about the game, and you can spend a lot of hours in this one, just like a lot of other dungeon crawling action RPGs. You're not gonna get as much content as Diablo, however, it is being released at a very palatable price point of $19.99, and given that it is coming with new content as well, I think that this is going to be a home run, as it is dropping on September 3rd. Might not be the best release date, given that it's coming around the same time as other major big budget releases, but nonetheless, given that it is $20, I think it's a game that a lot of people will end up checking out. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, you can play The Division 2 for free right now. Go download it off the PlayStation Store. You don't even need PlayStation Plus, so check that out. Oninaki, a brand new Japanese RPG from Tokyo RPG Factory, will be dropping August 22nd. Heroland will be dropping sometime in the fall, and Torchlight 2 is headed to the PlayStation 4 on September 3rd. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.